Starlink, Battle for Atlus is Ubisoft's latest attempt to perform CPR on the dead Toys to Life fad. Some people get it, and some people don't. And this makes sense. After all, Starlink is basically Skylanders all over again. A simple little game designed to sell overpriced toys to kids in order to unlock parts of the game. But Starlink, perhaps accidentally, does two things that I think set it apart from both Skylanders and most DLC-heavy games of the modern era. The first point is the $80 Deluxe Edition. Throughout the modern age of DLC and microtransactions, companies have given us the excuse that if they didn't offer optional content to purchase, they would have to raise the prices of their games. The response many of us have given over and over is, well, do it. I would much rather pay a larger flat fee up front for a complete experience than either have to pay extra in small amounts or wait months on end for the game to be finished. Starlink is one of the first microtransaction-driven games to offer this as an option, and for a relatively reasonable price no less. I kind of wish there were a physical version of the Deluxe Edition that was just the cart, so that I wouldn't have to buy it digitally, but I see this as a step in the right direction. Notes to all companies: this is what player choice actually means. I'm by no means saying this is perfect though. Unlocking everything immediately kind of exposes the design compromises made for the Toys to Life conceit. The ship and weapon selection is fairly sparse, because they didn't want to include any that wouldn't make a real-life version of. You can only make so many toys, especially ones as complex as these. Plus, since all of the ships and weapons are purchased, there are simply none to find or earn. Consequently, even when you have all of the options open, the game comes off extremely simplistic. And if you're looking for an open world of Ubisoft's usual caliber, where you'll find all sorts of meaningful goodies as you progress, you may come off as disappointed. Enter Star Fox. To put it quite simply, Fox's mere presence saves the game in the eyes of Nintendo fans, because he changes what people expect it to be. If you look at the game as an open-world Star Fox game, suddenly it looks far more appealing. Star Fox has never had much in the way of gameplay, enemy, ship, or weapon variety, because generally they follow Nintendo's mantra of simplicity over all else. Simply flying around open space, getting into all-range tactical battles with squads of enemies, and barrel-rolling your way to safety when your shields start to fall apart is perfectly appropriate and pretty appealing if what you want is a new Star Fox game instead of a new Ubisoft game. Even the game's short story length becomes forgivable from this context, because the story is more of a formality than anything, an excuse to get into the action, and this game builds on the story with a titular Battle for Atlus, which is fought not just throughout the main story campaign, but on the ground of each of the game's planets as you hunt down Legion forces and bolster your own, adding more to do outside of the main story quests. Even flying from planet to planet through space feels a lot like a Star Fox level, with asteroids to dodge, enemy traps to evade, and the occasional outlaw group to engage in combat. I'm not saying the game has the same level of quality as Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but it ends up feeling like a Star Fox version of that. Where Zelda focuses on exploration, looting, and puzzle solving, Star Fox is all about visually interesting settings, avoiding obstacles, and spaceship combat. And Starlink, intentional or not, manages to take the Star Fox formula and apply it to an open world, or galaxy, with surprising elegance. This is why Nintendo fans see the game in a far more positive light than others seem to. The game's simplicity works to its advantage when all you really want or expect is all that it offers. And Nintendo fans more readily accept a simple game that does what it does well. Personally, I've fallen in love with Starlink. Even the Nickelodeon-style cast and universe it creates have grown on me. But as much as I'd like to think I'm able to remove myself from my own biases, even I was initially suckered in by the Star Fox crew. The power of an IP that blew you away during your formative years will never truly die. But I think, if you simply take the game on its own merits and the things it does, whether you're a Star Fox fan or not, there's simply something to love about a game that does what little it does with such elegance.